Time now for Seixeiro. This is where I get 60 seconds to talk about anything. Start the clock, please. Here's what's on my mind this morning. In 2013, the Raptors nearly traded Kyle Lowry to the Knicks. It's that odd piece of Masai Ujiri history that people in the city don't like to talk about, but it's true. Lowry arrived from Houston. It didn't go well. He nearly became a Knick, but the trade fell through. What transpired was one of the greatest turnarounds in the city's sports history. From that moment on, Lowry became a dad, an all-star, a leader, a guy who re-signed with Toronto multiple times, a guy who didn't sulk when his buddy got traded for Kawhi Leonard, an NBA champion, and he also won an Olympic gold medal in Rio as part of Team USA. NBA free agency began last night, and word is Kyle Lowry's heading to Miami. For now, I don't want to focus on what the Raptors might be getting in a sign and trade with the Heat. I just want to focus on what the Raptors got with Kyle. And what they got was the greatest Raptor of all time. Who knew? Donnovan Bennett joins us from Sportsnet. Maybe he knew. I didn't know at the time it would turn out this way. It truly is one of the amazing left turns in Toronto sports history, isn't it?
It is. Think about this. When he got here, he was on a timeshare with Jose Calderon coming off the bench. He thought he was going to be here for such a short time. He didn't even bother to put his teammates' phone numbers in his phone because he thought this was just a pit stop. Obviously, it ends differently. He ends up being the greatest Raptor of all time. But a lot of people are going to talk about the career numbers, and there's great ones, right? You know, obviously you mentioned some of the stats, and he's the career leader in everything other than scoring. That would be DeMar for the Raptors. But I just want to give your viewers another side of him that they might not have been able to see or might not hear today, if you'll let me.
Of course, go ahead. Floor is yours.
Watching him up close, the two things that I respect the most. You mentioned it first, dad. How great he was with his kids. He would go from intensely competing on the court to final whistle, transition to be a loving, doting dad. And watching that, really being a role model to make being a father cool in the NBA along with LeBron James and Steph Curry was fun for me to watch, and was cool when I became a dad. And he was really a dad of the team. He would take out the rookies, and he's ornery with us in the media, but he would take out the rookies every year and buy them suits, show them this is how you dress, this is how you be a professional, talk to people around that team, and he is one of the most beloved teammates any of them have ever had. And the teammate is key, because you mentioned another word, leader. You talked about the fact his statue is going to be a charge. We're changing Dundas Street. We can make it Lowry Lane. But the thing that I think of the most is not a play that he made. Game 6, they win the finals in Oracle, chaos on the court. Somehow, in his vision, and he's got great vision, he sees Masai Ujiri in an uncomfortable spot, to say the least, with a police officer, goes and gets him, drags him on the court, says, "You're with us, you're with us." Given what those two men have been through, and given what Lowry in that moment meant to everyone, that's the moment that's going to stand out to me. Fearless, leader, empathetic. Give him his flowers, even though he's going to be playing in Miami.
And the irony of that moment in Game 6 at the Oracle back in 2019, it's not like Masai and Kyle had this great relationship the entire time, right? They butted heads like you would not believe. I mean, there was that moment. To me, Kyle's greatest moment, Donnovan, if we have a couple seconds, is when Kawhi got here that season. First off, DeMar DeRozan's traded. I thought Kyle was going to go off the rails. I really, and just because those two were are still that close. Not only did Kyle kind of not get over, but fight through it professionally, but in the middle of that year, there was a legit sit down between Masai and Kyle, and it wasn't just about DeMar. It was about how Kawhi was basically having the organization at his beck and call. Like anything Kawhi needed, he got. And Kyle was like, wait a second here. And that whole season could have ended very differently. But to Kyle's credit and Masai's, they found a way. And that's kind of Kyle's story in Toronto. No one really expected it, but he found a way. And it was an incredible run.
Yeah, every organization needs a culture setter. He was that for the Raptors. 7 straight playoff appearances. The organization only had 5 total before that. So, again, all Raptors fans, this is a day of celebration, not one of mourning.
So how does he do? We have 30 seconds. How does he do in Miami? Jimmy Butler extension. They might not be done adding. How does he do?
they've got some dogs on that team. They have a bunch of Kyle Lowrys on that team. They bring in PJ Tucker, another player that Raptors fans love. So I know the Bucks are defending champs. I know the Nets have a bunch of all-stars. We'll see what Philly does. But I really like the prospects of that Miami team moving forward, because how are you going to score against them? They're going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch. Next up for the Raptors, I guess, Pascal Siakam. By the way, you haven't heard Masai re-signed yet, have you? I haven't heard that. Have you heard that?
No,
I haven't heard that.
He was in a photo signing Gary Trent Jr.
I saw that.
haven't seen his signature anywhere, so
I
that's
saw
something
that.
to watch as well.
By the way, but Gary Trent Jr. makes $1 million more a year than Fred VanVleet. We'll talk about that another day. And if Masai signs, we might talk about it as well. Donnovan, appreciate you. Thanks for jumping on. Great stuff.
My pleasure.
One and only Donnovan Bennett from Sportsnet. He is phenomenal. Coming up, should you invest in meme stocks? What you need to know to start saving for retirement right now. That conversation straight ahead. Good morning, Toronto. It's 6:46. You're watching BT.